Good Monday morning and welcome to the third episode of this beginner series, and today we are going to look at the various object types that are available in AL. We will also publish and unpublish the app that we created, and finally we will extend a table and a page and use the Enum data type. So please stay tuned. I hope you have watched or followed up the two beginner videos that we have started with, and if you haven't, please make sure you watch the videos first and apply all the steps first, because this is a progressive series and it requires you to follow all the steps progressively. That's how you'll get the benefit out of it. And for that, please stay tuned in this episode. So this is where we left when we created the application and we published it, published hello world. So how are we able to uninstall this application from our side? As long as you are an admin user, but I believe you should be because you have installed it in your local machine. So our application is here, beginner extensions. So you just click on this ellipses, the three lines on this extension management. Okay, what did we do? I've been a little bit fast. We went on the search. Tell me what you want. The search is on the right here of the application, and then you search for extension management. In the extension management, this is the page that enables you to install or uninstall applications. So here we will uninstall, and then you right click and click on uninstall. You just click, not right click, and then click on uninstall, and then it will be successfully uninstalled. Here, not installed. The app is there, but it is not installed, so it is prompting us that the administrator has done an installation of the application, and we should refresh the app to see the default application again. So when we open the application, we don't have the pop-up of the hello world, meaning that we have uninstalled our application. We can go back to extension management again. When we open the extension management, it is not installed. We can click on these ellipses and then install the app again, and once installed, we'll be able to see again, after refreshing, the admin will be able to see the app published hello world. That's it for installation and uninstallation of the application. Let's go to our VS Code again, and in AL we have different types of objects. But before that, let me introduce you to the programming model, that is the extensions programming model, which is a model where functionality is defined as an addition to the existing objects and defines how they are different or modify the behavior of the solution. You are modifying the functionality as of the existing object, so you are adding on top of the object. That's why it was important for us to look at how the existing objects work, and the mantra here, or the rule here, is if it works in the default functionality, if you have that functionality in the original object, you don't need the extension. You only need to extend the functionality that is not existing in the original solution. That's why it's so important to make sure to keep understanding what this original solution offers from time and time again, because if you get a request that already exists in the original solution, you don't need to add an extension. So we have different type of objects. We have tables, pages, reports, code units, and XML ports, and a query. Okay, this is not really a big object because it's a container for functions, but these are the main objects that we have in AL, and we'll go through some of the objects. Tables are the core objects used to store data in Dynamics 365 Business Central. No matter how data is registered in the product, from a web service to a finger swipe on the phone app, the results of that transactions will be recorded in a table. And then only tables with the extensible property set to true can be extended. Yes, so you'll come to that, but just capture that to know which tables can be extended. So in we have pages here. Okay, I forgot to uncomment for the clarity of the tables, but let's proceed. So pages in Dynamics 365 Business Central, they're the main way to display and organize data. Pages are the primary object that a user will interact with. You always interact with a page and have a different behavior based on the type that you choose. Pages are designed independently of the device that they are to be rendered on. And in this way, the same page can be reused across the phone, tablet, and web clients. The user interface of Dynamic 365 is intuitive and it is responsive to different phones and tablets. That's why a page and a different type of page will be displayed differently on different devices. And finally, we have a report. Let me comment so that you can see it clearly. They are used to print and display information from a database. You can use a report to structure and summarize information and to print documents such as sales quotes and invoices. You can also, a report, you can store it in form of a PDF, save as a PDF, save as what else can you save as a report? I'll go through them in a few. Word, I guess, yeah, you can save it in Word form or Excel. Queries, so they just display the information from the data, and reporting is a key function of any application. So reports, the report object will enable us create reports, and queries, they enable us retrieve information from one or more tables and combine them into rows and columns in a single data set. Query objects can also perform calculations on data, such as finding the sum or average of all values in a column of the data set. And XML ports, so yes, you combine tables and find averages. XML ports are used to export and import data between an external source and Dynamics 365 Business Central, sharing data between different computer systems is seamless when it is shared in an XML format. I forgot to uncomment as well. Working with XML files can be tedious, and so the details of how XML is handled are encapsulated in XML ports. So finally, we have this thing known as a code unit, which is a container for AL code that you can use in many application objects. You typically implement business logic in code units and call the code unit from the object that needs to perform that specific logic. You implement business logic in the code unit and you call it from a report, from a table, from a page, whenever you want. We have seen that in some previous videos on event subscribers, but in this beginner series, let's get the definition. Like a code unit is a container for objects, functions that you want. So it means implementing the business application such as sales post and maybe post a function and all that. Post maybe a sales order and all that. It's implemented in a code unit. And we have various other new objects here, like table extensions, table keys, enums, page extension, page extension, page customization, spelling mistake, profile control add-in, entitlement, permission set extension. These are the many objects that we have in AL. So let's comment this and go to the business of today, which is creating a page extension and a table extension. This is what we want to do today. We have realized that, okay, before that, I'm a bit in a hurry today. So this is a page. I wanted to show you that this is a page that we just looked into, and this is a report because it gives us information in displayed here. We can add a filter here and preview, and again now all this information has been stored on a table. The information is stored in a table, not on a table, in a table. The information is just retrieved and displayed on the page and on the report, but it's stored in a table. Yeah, you can be able to see everything that is displayed here that enables the user to navigate with the system is a page. So we want to extend this page here. Okay, we have realized after looking at what the default application offers us in as much as a customer is concerned, we have realized that while adding a customer, we cannot be able to define the county they belong in. We can define the address, the country code, the city, but we have an extra field that the customer needs. Okay, or we need to add the county to define the customer uniquely because we need it in our reporting. So we need to add an extension for the county. This is how we go about it. First of all, we need to open the Explorer. It's good to have an order in our extensions, the way we create our extensions. First of all, we need to remove this. I think we are done with the hello world. Yes, we can remove that page extension and save the file. Okay. We need to reorganize our folders to enable easy identification of the things that we need to add. So we can have tables defined in that folder, and then we have a new folder for table extensions, table extension. The naming convention, I believe the best is to use the singular, and then you have page and then page extension. So the table, this is where we'll create new tables, but we don't want to create a new table. We only want to create a table extension. The other one that we need for today is an enum. So we'll start with the table extension. No, we start with the enum to define the counties. So in the new file, we'll call it counties.al. That is the file. Okay, we want to create an enum for all the counties. So how do we do it? We use a snippet. A snippet will define the default code that we need to create the extension. So when you start typing, it will generate the IntelliSense for you, and we have now here the snippet of type enum. You click on tab and then you put the ID. Remember, in the launch.json we defined the number of the number object range that we'll be using, and in this enum we'll call it counties. It's extensible, which is true, and then the default county that we have is 0. We are saying 0, and then we'll have value 1. It's Mombasa. We call it 001, but it's Mombasa for value 1. And we can add, maybe there are 47, so it means you need to define most of them here. It's good to use an enum because they don't change as often. It's something that takes so much time to define. Value 3 should be Kilifi, and then 4 Tana River, and then I think the last one we need to add Lamu County. These are the 5 counties that we are adding in our enum. So after adding this, we now need to define them in our table extension. So we create a new file. We'll call it the customer table extension. .al, and then t extension, the snippet should be t tables, t table extension. It will give us the snippet for table extension, and you click the tab key from there, and then 5100, and then customer table extension. It's good to have a naming convention that will enable you to easily identify the extension that you are extending. It extends the customer table, and then here on the fields, now we need to add the new field that we have. We want to add the field of county. Still, we'll use a snippet, the t field snippet for the table field. Here it is. First of all, we need to define the field number. It's good to use the field numbers that are already the ones that have been defined in the launch.json to avoid the conflict with the field numbers in the default applications. So the field numbers like in this series or the series that you have been given by Microsoft, it will avoid conflicts with the original table extensions. So here we'll call it county, and then it will be an enum. Where is the enum? It will be an enum of counties. Enum of counties. I don't know why it's not coming in the IntelliSense, but here it is. So there is something wrong here. Okay. Let me say customer county. When you define it as such, then it will be now referencing the counties field. And finally, after adding this table extension, we will add a new page extension that will to add now the county in the customer card to enable the user to select the county that the customer belongs to while using the application. So here we will call it the customer page extension, and then t page ext for the snippet, and then the number will be the same 5100, and then this one will be customer page extension. It extends. Now here we need to know the page that it will extend. It should be the customer card page because the editing happens on the card page. Let's see. This is a list page that is listing the information, but when you click on edit here, you find that you have the card page. So this is where we want to add the field county. After the user has defined the city, we want to add the customer county right after the city has been defined. So here we go. So I think it should be in the layout changes, add page layout changes here. So there is an add after. For now, you can just be following and doing whatever I'm doing. So add after what? Okay. So we say add after and then city. We have said we want to add this field after the city field, and on this we will define what we want to add after. We don't need the actions. We are not extending the actions. We are only extending this, and we can uncomment this. We can delete, not uncomment. So what do we want to add after city? We want the field county, customer county. This is the field that we want, and the field is known as customer county here on this other side, and we'll close the we'll open and close the squiggly lines, squiggly braces, curly braces, not squiggly, curly braces. And I believe that's it for this the coding part. What we need to, let's recap. We started with an enum. What is an enum? An enum is used to list, to enable us list these values or the option strings that we'll have on our table. We better use enums than option strings because it's very easy to extend an enum. So we have defined our enum with all the counties that we have. When you have sort of fixed values in a table, you use an enum to define it. Maybe status, you use as an enum, open, closed, pending, approved. And a value like this that doesn't change as often, you use an enum. It's better. In a value that changes oftenly, like maybe what is it called? What can I think of that comes first? I don't know. Okay, everything has been lost in my mind. Come on, when I need it, it's getting lost. Maybe the name, or what is the location of maybe items. You can have the locations changing frequently. You use a table relation. It's better to store it in a table because it's something that needs frequent updates. But for us, like in Kenya, these counties don't oftenly change because they are sort of fixed places. Like you could use an enum for states in US. I don't know, but I believe for me this one works for me. I've been using it. But yeah, that's the concept about using an enum. And then now after that, we have gone and created now this customer table extension, which again references the enum. It extends the customer table. Remember, we said a table is used to store information. Yes, the page is displaying, but you have to go to the table. You have to touch on the table that stores the information. And then we created a new field, and we said that we will use the field number instead of 1 or 2. The field number that is the one that we have specified in the launch.json for the purpose of avoiding conflicts. After creating this field with this field number, we have referenced the enum counties that we created earlier. Here is the enum, to make sure that our reference to this field references the counties, and it will list all these counties. And finally, we have gone and created a page extension for the customer to just display. And again, since the customer card is a page that is existing, we have to tell the layout where to add this field. That's why we have used this add after. It's a keyword. We have add first, add last, add before. Add after defines a new control and place. Okay, where do we want to specify this customer county? We want to add it after the city field. Whatever, okay, in this customer card, just after the city, we want this field to be displayed there. Now we can go and see whatever we have done in our page. We removed the app published, and we can see it's no longer there. We don't have that because that was the hello world for the previous video. We can take this customer and edit the customer. When we edit the customer, we'll see that there is something here, something new. We have after the city, which you call the customer county. You can click on it and you'll see the values, several values. The first value was 0. It's very important to use the default value as 0. It means that if you want to enforce, maybe the customer must select, they'll have to click. Otherwise, county, if you specify, maybe if this Mombasa is the default county, it will mean that, oh, this customer will not have any other option. They'll always be selected for Mombasa. So we can even specify Kilifi as maybe the county where Sportsmare Furnishings comes from. And this will enable now your user seamlessly. You have seamlessly added a new field to the user so they can key in values for that city or for the county and for that particular customer, and the application still remains intact. And I believe that's it for this video. Now you are able to do the small things. You can read more about it, practice. The key thing is make sure you apply whatever we have done in this video. Applying is more important than just watching or learning. Practicing will give you wisdom. Learning will give you the knowledge, but yes, it's good to do step one, which is learning, but you need the wisdom by applying, because you'll get a different experience while trying to use it, and that experience will give you the wisdom and the skill that you need to become a good extension developer using AL. And may God bless you as you learn, and I will see you in the next video.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so that you don't miss the next one.